immediate investigation, the highest level, with the consideration of declaring the Sokoto Cáliphate an international terror organization. And treat it as such. Predator drones and Tomahawk missiles go a lot further at stopping this stuff than sanctions ever will. And that's what's warranted here. It is a genocidal regime. It is a terrorist organization.
Amen.
And finally, focus international efforts, focus attention on restoring the internally displaced. Justice and restoration. Again, this will prevent as many as 5-6 million from being radicalized in the next 5 years. It's existential. We must focus on the internally displaced. Not just as human beings, not just as Christians, but it's in our vital national interest to do so. And the restoration of IDPs to their rightful fatherlands, that will require the purging of the jihadis. But we don't do it to kill the jihadis, we do it to restore justice. We do it to restore the IDPs. That's necessary. Congressional delegation, charges of genocide against the Tinubu regime, declaring the Caliphate a terrorist organization, and restoring the internally displaced. That's how you uproot this. That's how you fix it. Everything else is just window dressing.
It don't rate my people. So the Sokoto Caliphate has been designed as a terrorist organization internationally by America. So this news was trending yesterday, and people we are only carried away by the new Minister of Defense, screening by the House of Senate yesterday. That is General Christopher Musa screening, where he was telling us on how to combat the terrorism in the country and how to fish away the people that sponsor them. So the same yesterday, America, in the United States of America, they redesigned. In fact, this one choke, my people. When I saw this, I was like, what is going on? What is going on? So this consideration of declaring Nigeria's Sokoto Caliphate an international terrorist organization is really something else. Remember that on the 6th of November, it was also on the news that ex-mayor of Blanco City, Texas, known as Mike Arnold, he said that he will be going on a Zoom meeting on Friday to tell the U.S. government to, one, install an international news cameras in hidden concentration camps and also give eyewitnesses platform to speak out in Nigeria, and to prosecute Nigerian government at the International Criminal Court, and thirdly, to investigate Sultan of Sokoto for allegedly leading the Christian genocide, and if found wanting, and demand that the Sokoto Caliphate be identified as an international terrorist organization. Guys, and guess what? Shockingly, just today is 4th, and yesterday was 3rd. In less than a month that this man made such a statement, Sultan of Sokoto and everything that has to do with the Sokoto Caliphate as a whole has been designated, or has been declared a terrorist organization. Not just a Nigerian terrorist, an international terrorist organization. Guys, this is really, really shocking. I also saw on Facebook where one guy posted, I think this is a northern person, his name is Henry Femowe. He said that the rejoinder to the government and the people of the United States of America from the indigenous Hausa people on the historical crimes of the Sokoto Caliphate between 1804 to 1903, and its modern echoes for all who seek historical truth and justice. We, the indigenous Hausa people, descendant of the ancient civilization of Gobaya, Katsina, Kano, Daura, Zazau, Zamfara, Kebbi, and other Hausa polities, respectfully present this rejoinder to the government and people of the United States of America and all global institutions committed to human rights, justice, and historical clarity. This is not an ethnic attack. This is a moral obligation, a historical correction, and a defense of truth. For over 200 years, our ancestors' voices were suppressed. Today, we speak in their name, the Sokoto Caliphate, a terrorist empire in modern times. The Sokoto Caliphate, 1804 to 1903, was not an Islamic reform movement. It was a violent empire built through religious extremism, mass enslavement, ethnic displacement, the murder of indigenous Hausa Muslim scholars, the systematic destruction of Hausa institutions. The jihad violated every Islamic principle on justice and welfare. Islam strictly forbids killing Muslims, enslaving Muslims, burning villages, raiding peaceful communities, declaring Muslims as unbelievers, attacking worshippers, starving populations. Yet the empire carried out all these atrocities by every international standard. The Sokoto Caliphate meets the definition of a terrorist state. Secondly, a state engineered through slavery. According to world-renowned historians Moray Last, Paul Lovejoy, Heinrich Bath, HAS Johnston, the Sokoto Caliphate was the largest slave-based system in 19th century in Africa as a whole. In Kano alone, between 1820s to 1850s, about 4,000 slaves, barely 1,000 free citizens. This was not reform. This was a structured human trafficking empire with slave markets, government-regulated price tables, sexual exploitation of girls, plantation estates, gandu, run entirely by enslaved labor, mass exportation to Fezzan, Tripoli, and Ottoman territories. This was state-sponsored slavery imposed on Hausa and Middle Belt peoples. Thirdly, that in 1836, Gawaku genocide, 45,000 Hausa Muslims were massacred. According to HAS Johnston, more than 45,000 Hausa Muslims were slaughtered in a single campaign ordered by Sultan Muhammad Bello. This was not a battle, it was systematic extermination. Towns burned, communities wiped out, survivors enslaved, children taken as property for nearly 2 centuries. The world remains silent. We refuse to remain silent now. Fourth, that the Sokoto Empire's method of enslaving indigenous people, the Caliphate enslaved millions through A. Backfire, which is known as false accusation of unbelief. Hausa Muslims were labeled apostates to justify killing and enslavement. B. Slave raids, which is launched from Adamawa, Bauchi, Zaria, Katsina, and Zamfara. C. Punitive taxes, non-payment of jizya and keharaji resulted in enslavement. And D. Sexual violence, women and girls taken as concubines, domestic slaves, and forced wives. Children erased, indigenous identity wiped out through forced assimilation. F. Plantation system, massive estate farms run exclusively by enslaved people. G. Trans-Saharan slave trade, tens of thousands exported annually. This was state machinery designed to erase indigenous nations. 5. Victims of the Caliphate violence in Hausa land are, according to these people, Gobirawa, Zamfara, Kabawa, Zazagawa, Kasinawa, Kanawa, Garun Gabas, Daruawa, Ninge, Gwari, Kurama, hundreds of Hausa towns and villages. Middle Belt peoples are Jukun, Tifi, Idoma, Atiap, Jaba, Igala, Plateau communities. Northeast, Kanuri, known as Ngazaramago, Ngazagamu, Bura, Babu, Kilba, Gwoza mountain peoples. This was not a religious reform. It was imperial domination of indigenous nations. Sixth, why recognition matters today, why we do not blame all Fulani people. We address the historical empire and their modern ideological environment that protects criminality, just as the world condemns the Holocaust, the Armenian genocide, the Atlantic slave trade, the Rwanda genocide, ISIS atrocities, so must it acknowledge the atrocities committed by the Sokoto Caliphate, silence its complicity. Recognition is justice. 7. Our formal appeal to the United States government. We respectfully request recognition that the Sokoto Caliphate operated as a terrorist empire. 2. Inclusion of these crimes in global human rights and historical atrocity studies. 3. Acknowledgement of the millions enslaved, killed, or displaced. And 4. Support for preserving indigenous historical memory. So, number 8 is that modern echoes, the Fulani bandit crisis and the culture of denial. we state clearly, we have never said all Fulani people are terrorists. Our focus is the pattern of collective denial by many Fulani elites and scholars who defend bandits, justify killings, shift blame, sanitize terrorism, accuse victims of provoking attacks, shared criminals through propaganda. Over 100 Fulani public figures, clerics, elites, spokespersons have openly defended bandits or argued on their behalf. This is not coincidence. It is a continuation of the ideological culture of the Caliphate. Common tactics used to defend bandits and silence victims. Number one, every tribe has criminals used to dilute the reality, refusing to label bandits as terrorists, claiming bandits were oppressed first, calling mass murder self-defense, portraying atrocities as revenge missions, attacking Hausa, vigilantes to divert attention, never condemning bandits directly, accusing the military of human rights abuses whenever bandits are defeated, pushing for negotiation instead of justice, comparing bandits to Niger Delta militants, insisting dialogue is the only option, inventing the false grazing routes where stolen narrative, fabricating claims that Southerners kill Northerners to distract from bandit atrocities. These psychological tactics are designed to confuse the public, silence victims, shift blame, protect criminals, weaken resistance, prolong violence. This is not accidental. It is ideological conditioning. So why this rejoinder matters? We expose these tactics because our people are dying and silence is deadly. This rejoinder is a shield for the oppressed, a voice for forgotten victims, a call for global recognition, a defense of historical truth, a warning against manipulation. We speak to the future generations. We not inherit lies built on our suffering. Final declaration. The historical record is clear that the Sokoto Caliphate was a violent, extremist, slave-driven empire. Its legacy continues to echo through modern justifications of bandits terrorism. Not all Fulani are guilty, but the truth cannot be suppressed. The Fulani-led empire committed atrocities now recognized as terrorism, genocide, and mass enslavement. What do we demand for? For acknowledgement, for justice, and for truth. This is coming from the sons and daughters of the ancient Hausa kingdoms, known as Hausa Indigenous Activist Movement 2025, defenders of historical truth. Courtesy of this particular story is Gimbiya Hausa. My people, it is really shocking. The Hausa part of the country are now waking up. Anyway, I don't know if they're waking up at early time or they're waking up very late. But Martin Nnamdi Kanu, in his own will and through his own power, at least he opened the eyes of these people. He educated these people. He made them to go back to their history to look, or let's say, research about who they are and what actually happened. And why are they being pursued away from their own land? Foreigners, people coming from different countries, are chasing the real owners of the land away from the land and occupying their own space. That is really sad. Anyway, congratulations, because the latest news now is that finally the Sokoto Caliphate has been declared an international terrorist organization. An international, that is a foreign terrorist organization. Guys, and following this, you know what it means. It will be hard for this man to step into either UK, Canada, or America. He can travel to any Arab country if they choose not to sanction him in terms of visa restriction and other things. But when it has to do with Canada, UK, and America, automatically, these people who has been accused of sponsoring of terrorism in Nigeria and beyond are now restricted from entering this continent. I don't know how you will see this, but I think what these guys, this Hausa groups, what they said, their point that they listed, they really made a point. Looking at the way somebody like, what did they call it? This Gumi, Sheku Gumi, coming publicly to defend banditry, coming publicly to defend terrorism. You are telling us that they don't have money, they are living in a mud house. You can at least go to a Bonny state in Southeast. You will see people are still living in a mud house, but are they carrying out guns, looking for the government people to kill, looking for who to kill, because the government are not treating them? You don't expect the government to train your children for you. You get married willingly by yourself, you give birth to your children, you expected to train your children and not the government responsibilities to train your own children. The only thing you could be talking about is provision of, basic social amenities. When the government lacks provision of basic social amenities, that is when the citizens can, But in this regard, the way and manner in which these people defend this banditry and excessive killing going on in the country, you began to ask yourself a question. Are they really human or are they devil incarnate? Because obviously no man in his or her right senses will wake up one day to defend this banditry, to defend this terrorists, to defend this excessive killing, this daily killing, kidnapping, abduction going on in the country on daily basis. People are being killed. The militaries are being slaughtered like chicken. Imagine the way General Oba was killed by these terrorists. The way they fight and silence this man, a commander. Kai, Nigeria, it is well. I don't know how you guys will say, but I think this is a welcome development. If you don't find it fine, good. But for me, kudos to America for doing the needful, for at least answering the indigenous people of Hausa's request, for fulfilling their request of, declaring the Sokoto Cáliphate an international terror organization. Anyway, don't forget to tell us in the comment section your thought and your opinion regarding this video you finish watching. And don't forget to share this video, subscribe, turn on the bell button, stay tuned for more latest updates. Chidinma Clement got you covered on all latest Nigerian news. You can do well to follow us on our Facebook page at Christy TV. Thanks for watching and have a lovely